Hello friends and welcome back. I am Enterprise Architecture and we are once again playing Oceanblock 2. Now, if you watched my last mini episode, we finished our Particle Accelerator at long last. And so today I wanted to do a couple of little chores that we need to take care of so that we can get the most out of all of these crafts. So with no further ado, let's dive right in. Alright, so first things first, I want to make up a couple of Tachyon Absorbers here. I don't know, let's see how many we can make out of this. We're going to start with 8 and see if it'll let us. It looks like we have all the things to craft it. The reason why we want those is because we're going to absorb the power back into our system from those absorbers. So once these particles smash, we should get back 3 times as much power as we put in, which quite frankly is a lot of power in this last ring. Now, the biggest bottleneck for that crafting that we were having previously was that our centrifuges were really slow because we only had one of them, which is the one over there in the corner you can see spinning right now. So I started parallel processing all of our ingredients instead. I added 3 additional centrifuges. Each of those has a machine extender on it, which means you can put additional speed add-ons, and each of these has 3 speed add-ons in addition to the fluid add-on. And that means, of course, it's running at 200% efficiency. I thought it was more than that. This one's 250. I don't know why that one's different from the others, and this one is 300. I'm not sure what's going on. Something weird is happening with the way that these are set up. I don't know if these are sharing the add-on because it's between 2. Something weird is happening, but the point being, these are faster than normal, and that's what we want, so we can make plastic relatively quickly in here. So again, just taking the raw biopolymer, which we're making out of compressed wheat, and that's turning into plastic very quickly. All right, so we are halfway done with our Tachyon Absorbers at this point. I think we should go ahead and use the ones that we've made and see if we can't get this set up. It's taken about 5 minutes so far to even get to this point. And I think what we want to do is put them right just back from where we are going to be doing the actual exploding. So since that's going to be basically right around here, this is the spot I think we will build. So let's go and put them down like this. And I think this is the correct way to do this. I think by putting them back a little bit further that we should have better odds. Oh, but I think that these are, whoops. As you can see, I was once again killed by my own particle accelerator. All right, there's the last of our absorbers there. I think we can just wire these up with these cables that we've got, the Celestigem level ones. I think that should work fine. And then we just want to feed that into something. I'm going to use this ultimate energy cube here just as a point to figure out how much power these are going to get. I don't know why this already has power in it. I haven't done anything yet, but for whatever reason, it has power in it. So let's see here. Let's clear this out. Let's make sure that this is going to be input. And then all of these, we just need to make sure that these are extracting. It looks like they will indeed extract, but I want to configure that to make sure that they're not accidentally trying to store power as well. And we will go ahead and put a flux plug on here and set it to output, but we're not going to connect this up to the network yet because I just want to see how much power we get out of this. So keep in mind, we have 716K in here. That's not much. But hopefully as soon as this thing explodes, we just need one more tick, and then we should get power off of our Tachyon Absorbers, and that should go back into our system. So let's take a look here. Yeah, we're at 1100, so that's going to take a little while. Also, I'm not sure how to best arrange these. I think that maybe this will work as just 8 sitting out here, but maybe there's a better way to do it. I don't know. I need to look it up. All right, so while that is going, we need to do a couple of other chores in Mekanism. My goal here is to get the Mekanism multi-block power storage set up, the induction matrix. But to do that, we are going to need lithium, and to do lithium, we're going to need brine. So that means we need to grab our handy-dandy thermal evaporation blocks and start making those giant thermal evaporation towers. Now, to do that, we are also going to need a couple of imports here. So I do want to make sure that we are making the valves. Is this the right one? Yes. Yes, this is. So let's see here. Oh, but we are missing this. We need advanced control circuits. Let's go ahead and make 16 while we're making. And then the other thing we're also going to need is going to be the controller. So that's coming in. So let's make up a couple of controllers. Oh, we're going to need buckets for that. So let's do buckets. There we go. And then now we should be able to make 2 controllers, because that's what we're going to need here is 2. One to do water into brine, the second to do brine into lithium. All right, so there's that. We are going to need, if I remember correctly, 6 valves to be able to build this. And 6 in this case means 1 input for water or the basic fluid, 1 output, and then on top of that, you're also going to need 1 for heat. So that's what we're doing there. We're going to need a heat generator and just a little bit also, but let's get this thing framed out. If I remember correctly, this can go up to 18 blocks high. We're going to make 2 of these. I'm going to put these 3 blocks apart. That'll give us room for our logistics in between, or hero brine in between, whatever needs to come between these. So we're going to have that right there. And 64 blocks goes really, really fast when you're building these, unfortunately. One major improvement that they've done over the years for Mekanism is you no longer have to put the evaporation controllers on top. And I don't think you have to put the advanced solar panels on top anymore either. That used to be a requirement. But now I think we can just throw these on here. And once we put a couple of pipes on there, it should reform into the multi-block. So let's go ahead and up here. We're going to do our output to the input there, and then the actual input is going to go on that side, actual output is going to go on that side. So this should complete as soon as we're done. Yeah, there you go. Red sparks, that's a good sign. All right, so those are the basic multi-blocks, but that's not nearly good enough. We want these to be 18 high. So I've made a whole bunch of thermal evaporation blocks. Those we can automate, thankfully, in our AE2 system. So I've got those for auto crafting now, and I'm just going to go around and finish putting this together if I can put the blocks in the right place. All right, there they are, 2 tall towers here, and they are at height 18, which I believe is indeed our tallest height. So these are ready to go. We do need to fix one thing that I had forgotten when we were building them in the first place, and that, of course, is that we are going to need our heat exchangers to be put onto these somewhere. So I'm going to use these spots here for those heat exchangers right there. Is that what they're called? Heat something or another? What are they? Heat? Already have them made. Oh, and that explosion means that we are indeed have another nether star now done. So I'm going to need to reload our system here. Ah, yes, the resistive heater. That's what we need. So I don't know if I created a crafting recipe for that. I did. I was smart in between episodes, and I did indeed create the resistive heater recipe. We're also... Well, we don't actually need the thermodynamic conductors. Here's the thing. If we put these resistive heaters directly onto these, we don't actually need any pipes at all. And I think this will just work if we turn them the right direction. Let me rotate these around. So something like this should just work for us. And then all we have to do is run power to them. So we are going to need a bunch more power cables. I'm not sure if my Celestigem ones are done yet. No, those are still being processed. All right, so let's get these hooked up here. I think what we want to do is use our flux plug. Is it flux plug or flux point? I can never keep these straight. Flux point provides energy to blocks, so that's what we need. Let's put one of those in our queue here. And then I guess we can just connect these up with just the pipes we've got. There we go, and we don't have to run all the way back to our system. Instead, we'll just put this point right here on the bottom. I think will be a good place for them. There we go. And now we can tell this that we want it to be part of our network, and indeed that it should have the name of, this will be Evaporation Towers. There we go, great. All right, so these are getting power, and one thing that you can do here is actually increase the amount of FE per tick that they're using. So if we put this up to 1,000, this will generate a whole lot more power. So let's do that real quick. We might need to turn this back down later, but at least for now, we can have this start heating up. Now, it's heating up, but there's nothing in here, and that's a problem. So the first things first, we do need to make sure that we make an export, what's a majig? An export bus, that's right. Let's make one of those real fast. And as soon as that is done, we will wire this into our network, put it right here onto the evaporation valve. And we have plenty of cables now to run this over to this system. So this is our main ME network right on this edge. We're just going to run this straight over and into that, just like so. There we go. Okay, so now we just tell this to export water, and this should be getting in water pretty rapidly into its system. Well, not that rapidly. Unfortunately, we're going to need some acceleration cards for this. Let's see here. We have a bunch, so let's grab 4 of those. And if we put this in here, this should speed up how much water goes in, and it should hopefully keep up. Yeah, so we're already full on brine immediately. So that's what we like to see. Now we can go to the second evaporation valve here, and we're gonna need some fluid pipes. Let's see here. What sort of fluid pipes? We have elite mechanical pipes already. Can I make more of those? Do we have those already automated? No, we don't. Okay, so let's go ahead back to our pattern encoding system here, and we're gonna go ahead and make patterns up for all of our pipes real fast. First things first, basic pipes. From there, we're gonna go up to the next tier of pipes, just like that, and so forth and so on to the elite pipes. And then of course, we will also go up to the ultimate pipes. Great, and now we can just throw that into our crafting system here under the extended machine molecular assembler, excuse me. I guess we could just put that anywhere, it doesn't really matter, but maybe we put it with the mechanism stuff just so it's easier to find. So just like this. Great, and now we can request some elite pipes here. So let's do elite pipes. And we're gonna do, I don't know, 16? Let's do 16. We probably are not gonna need more than that right now. The other thing we're gonna do is make ourselves up a tank. I think now we need, let's see here. Can we make at least an elite? Let's do that. And our pipes are done already. There's our elite tank almost done. It must be having to make more alloys for that. We're gonna wait on that though. We're just gonna connect that up as soon as it comes in. Let's go ahead and connect these up real fast. So if I use my configurator, I should be able to pull out of here. There we go. Brine is now going into this system, and now that's becoming lithium immediately, just like that. And see, we're already full up on lithium as well. And now all we have to do is put that lithium into a fluid tank as soon as the fluid tank is done. Now, liquid lithium is fine, but what we really want to do is turn that liquid lithium into our lithium dust here. So liquid lithium, if we use this, you can see here, use liquid lithium, there we go. We can decondentrate that into regular lithium. And then from that, we should be able to then use that to make lithium dust in a chemical crystallizer. Now, why the chemical crystallizer will not, for whatever reason, take a liquid, I don't know, but it doesn't. So we do what we can because we must. All right, so let's see here. What do we need for this? We need some regular glass, and we need a tank, and we need all sorts of things. Let me go make up all of the ingredients for both of these real fast. All right, there's one thing we were missing here from our crafting automation, and that is diamantine crystal. So let's add that to our list, and we need to add a pattern for that. So let's use this one right here using our atomic reconstructor. There we go. That gets those crystals. And then all we have to do is add it to this system that Geek set up here. So we have our extended pattern provider here. We can put this in there. And then for the import bus, I don't think we need to configure it, but we do need to configure the ranged collector. So this needs to get diamantine, whatever it happens to be. Diamantine, there we go. We want this one. This one, oh, I guess we have to make one before we can actually do that. So let's go ahead and do this the old-fashioned way. We are going to grab ourselves a diamond. I prefer it in mods when you can literally just drag and drop into the filters, but this one's not letting us for whatever reason. And that didn't work because, of course, we have our magnet turned on per usual. That's always a problem here. Let's throw this in. There you go. Okay, that should have done it. It did. We add that to the list there, and now we should be able to craft these. Let's see, dye. There we go. Let's make 3 for now. Great. Should craft those in a second. And you can see those are disappearing from the range collector, and that means it's doing what we want it to do. Great. Okay, perfect. So with that all done, we're just waiting on ultimate control circuits to get finished. All right, so first things first, one rotary condensator. Oh, that's the wrong tab. That is the wrong tab. Let's try that again. Oh, that should be the right tab. Oh, but this one has sulfuric acid in it, and that's not right. We want to grab a basic fluid tank that doesn't have sulfuric acid in it, and that will then work. Okay, great. And then the chemical crystallizer, we should have everything. There we go. There's those things done. The only thing I think we're missing at this point is going to be a place to put all of our ingredients after we're done, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Alright, I couldn't figure out why my conduits weren't being crafted, and that's because I had substitutions enabled. Clicking this box to make it red will disable those. I think it was trying to substitute a different alloy, which it didn't have access to at that point, and that was just bottlenecking the whole thing, and that was happening for both levels of our conduits. So now that's fixed, and everything seems to be working fine, and all of our conduits got cooked. So now I'm going to run these conduits in the ground here just to make it a little bit easier to be able to access, just like this. I know that seems counterintuitive that running in the ground will make it easier to access, but that's the idea. Just like this, and then we're going to hide those a little bit, and then all the way back around here. Perfect. All right. So now that those are hidden, we can then use that to connect up our machines here that are going to come in next. So this, I want to come out of an elite pipe there. We want the elite pipe to go into the condensator. That's right. I think that's going to go like right here. I think that'll work. And we just have to make sure that we have this in the right mode. There we go, it's decondensating. And then next we want a chemical crystallizer on the side of that. These both will need power, so we're just gonna run that from the cables that were aforementioned, just like that. All right, so that's turning into lithium. We do need to tell it that for our fluids, we want to output and we do want to eject into the chemical crystallizer. The chemical crystallizer, we are going to say is inputting from the rotary condensator, and that should then work for us. There we go, just had to twiddle this around a little bit, and now that should work fine for us. There we go, lithium is now coming in here, and there's our lithium dust. And we don't need an infinite amount of this, but I do want a decent amount, so we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. Let's go ahead and make ourselves up a storage drawer. There we go, and we are gonna make ourselves up a storage bus as well. Let's see here, do we have one? No, not already made. That should only take a second to craft. There we go, there's a storage bus. And then I do want to put an upgrade on this. So let's see here. Let's do copper for now. That should be more than enough lithium for the near future. There's that. Okay, and now we should be able to put this on here, and we should be able to put the upgrade on there. And then all we have to do is tell it not to worry about any of these sides, but that items should be ejecting on into that drawer, and they are indeed. There we go. Upgrade, and then last but not least, we need to lock it. Okay, so that's all done. Then to configure it, all we have to do is throw a storage bus on here, and that does mean we're gonna need to run cables over and around. I'm gonna put this on top just so that we're not hiding where that's coming in, or excuse me, what the ingredients are that are coming in. And we're gonna run this around the building this way so that we can then connect the pipes. We also do want to set the priority on this as we do with all of our storage buses, and that makes sure that all of the lithium will go in here, and if it comes out of the crafting grid, like if you cancel a craft in here, that it'll still go back into this drawer rather than just into our normal drawer. So that should all be done. Now, with that finished, we are about ready to start making some of our actual matrix pieces here. So yeah, there we go. So we've got all of these various induction components, and all of these will require that lithium. So let's start with the basic ones actually, because we don't have that much lithium produced yet. Let's see, a basic induction cell. Let's do 16 of these if we can. Oh, we're missing lithium still. All right, well, I think I'm gonna have to just let this run for a while and continue to crank lithium until we have all that we need. Now, if I was really smart, I would run a redstone cable off of this all the way back through to this system so that it would not be heating if indeed it has all of the lithium that it needs. So at some point I'll do that. I'll wire this all in, and we'll put a redstone, what's the storage drawer thing? Storage drawer, yeah, this thing, the redstone upgrade. This way it will produce a redstone signal when it's nearly full, and that's how we will be fixing things. What's this? Max storage upgrade? How do we... Oh, we can't make a max storage upgrade. That must be a creative thing. Okay, no biggie. All right, while we wait for that to come in, I want to start working on solving our power woes once and for all. The biggest problem with our system right now, at least from where I'm sitting, is the fact that we keep draining all of our power off of the network all at once whenever we are running anything big. Meanwhile, our basic production can't even keep up. All of the Oritech machines are not getting enough power, to even stay full. So I'm going to build us a nice large container to keep all of our power in. So I want this to be a 7x7, and it looks like I miscounted. This is actually too many here. Let me break this back off. And this is going to be the induction casing that I had been making before. So we automated the production of that. This is going to be 7 tall as well. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. The jetpack actually makes this harder rather than easier. And then I should just be able to grab my netherite stick here. Actually, it doesn't look like the netherite stick wants to work with induction casings, so that's fine. We can do this the old-fashioned way. All we have to do is frame all of this in and then also put a top on it. So what this will do is we're going to run all of our connections directly into this as an input line. So the nuclear reactor, everything is going to be coming into this from a single point. And then we're also going to have a point out for this so that the export will come from a single channel. That way, everything gets filtered through this multi-block structure, and hopefully we'll have enough providers on it that won't be a problem. So all of our power won't just get sucked up immediately, it'll always be stored in a battery. Once this is complete and filled with cells, we can dismantle all of our other batteries that we're currently using. So I'm just going to pull all of this off here. Once that's done, we also need to go around upgrading all of our cables at some point because the red tier cables from Ender.io are not really keeping up with our needs. So that's going to be a side project for us. So let me get this framed in and we'll be back in a second. All right, so while we're waiting for our providers and induction cells to finish crafting, I'm going to go around and change all of our networks for places where we are producing power. So first things first, we need to turn this into our power plant network. There we go. And that's the elite one coming in there. So the reactor here will store in these, actually we're not even going to need these energy cubes when we are done here. So I can actually pull all of these off and turn them into cells for us momentarily. So sorry Geek, I'm pulling all of that apart. Let's grab all of our energy cubes, and all of these have various amounts of energy in them. That's totally fine. And then this will go directly onto our reactor. So let me pull all of this off. All right, there we go. There's our power plant. This is now being used as the reactor battery. So this will start putting power into the system that is the yellow system. And then similarly, we should come all the way back down to the bottom floor here where we've got these batteries. And I'm going to drain these off too into this as well. So these are the large energy batteries that we made from Oritech. This, we are going to change the network back to power plant. There we go. And that should be most of our power generation at this point, as soon as I break this off of the main power network. So this, we now need to add a couple of ports to, just like that. Then we have induction ports. We can then go ahead and take this. We need to configure one to be the output. So that's going to be the output. And then I need to figure out, once again, flux plugs here. So receives energy. So that's going to be the output plug. And this is the point. This provides energy to the input. This, we are going to need to change the network. This becomes the power plant network. So this is now the only input source, and this is going to then bypass the limit and will allow surging as well. And we're going to chunk load that. This one here should be connecting as soon as we tell it that we want this to be the shared power network. All right, so like I said, we only have elite right now. We will upgrade all of these in a second, but for right now, let's just go ahead and put one elite provider there and one induction cell. This is the minimum, is one provider and one cell to be able to make a working multi-block here. We put all this together. There we go. Everything that, yeah, now it's auto-connecting. So we should see the power should slowly tick in here if it's not being used. But right now, this is outputting. So it's going to be pulling all of our power here. And it looks like, yeah, it's going to use all of it for this system. So this is outputting 30,000 FE per tick into the induction port. And this is inputting into the network 30,000. So I know that seems backwards, but that's definitely what's going on. And then we can see here all of our various things that are using that. So we just need to go back here to all of these various other power devices and remove those from the network. And then all of this should be working properly, but we do want to drain these off. So the numbers are going down. That's what we want to see. We do need to disconnect our main lava production room, which is here. I don't know what happened to that door. There used to be a door there. In this room, We also have this cell. So what we're going to want to do is change this one here. Again, this now becomes part of the power plant network, and we'll provide to that. We're going to bypass the limit on that one. And then we just want to make sure that none of these cables are connected back up to the rest of our network. So let's pull this off from everything here. This should then start draining, and then we are going to separate off this network from everything else. Here's another provider plug that we would be using. This one we're going to change to power plant. There we go. And then we disconnect this from the rest of our main line. So with that done, this should now be two completely separate isolated networks that can pull all of the power that we've got. That's going up, which is not what I would expect to see. There we go. The cable was just connected to the side of it in addition, so we just need to put it back on top. That is now draining properly. We should be able to pull off all of those bottom power cables, and now our lava steam generation here, our reactor, and of course all of our batteries are now being set on the same network. So if we come back over here, out the back, around the corner here, this should be getting all of our power in. Yeah, that's what we like to see. Everything is working properly. Now we have a place to store all of our surplus power, and it looks like these are ticking down and now empty. That's what we expect to see here. So we should be able to break all of these as well. And this is now off the network. We don't need to think about it anymore. And now the lava power should be coming directly into our provider here. Okay, great. So now all that remains is to fill this with more cells and more providers, which we will do the second that we have enough of our lithium to do so. All right, back here at Tachyon Absorbers, these just absorbed 2.7 million FE, which is a lot. So I'd call that a successful experiment here. We can now configure this plug, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to tell it this is part of the power plant system. That should drain off of here immediately, and it did, and goes into our power system. And then that should then go back to feed all of our particle accelerators here. I really need to deprioritize those in the grand scheme of things, but that also means that we are very close to having all of our nether stars done. Nether star, yeah, we've got 6, so that means 2 left to go, and then we'll be done with all of that nonsense. All right, friends, so all of our chores are now complete, and we have now established what is going to be our endgame power setup, at least as far as I am concerned. We might have other stuff we need to unlock. I don't think Draconic is in this pack, but for now, this should suffice for everything else that we need to do. So, for now, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends!